At 9:12, a new country sign-in alert appears for an employee named Lena. The dashboard says high severity. Is the account compromised, or did a normal security control create an unusual location? A SOC analyst's first job is not to prove the alert right or wrong. It is to reduce uncertainty with evidence. Think of the alert as a smoke detector. It tells you where to look. It does not tell you whether the cause is a fire, burnt toast, or a faulty sensor. In this original CipherVibe walkthrough, we investigate one fictional alert using synthetic identity, endpoint, network, and asset data. We validate the detection, identify entities, establish a timeline, test competing explanations, determine scope and impact, choose a response, and document the decision. No real user, organization, credential, IP address, or security platform data is shown. The workflow is defensive and uses reserved documentation addresses. An event is an observed action, such as a sign-in or process start. A detection rule evaluates events and may produce an alert. An incident is a situation that meets the organization's criteria for coordinated response. A case is the record used to manage the work. An alert can be a true positive without being a security incident. For example, the detection may correctly identify a sign-in from a new location, but the location may belong to an approved corporate VPN. That is often called a benign positive. The rule matched real unusual behavior, but the behavior is authorized. A false positive means the detection logic or data incorrectly represented the behavior. Terms vary among organizations, so fact-check your local definitions and severity policy. The analyst should preserve the original alert, record ownership and timestamps, and avoid changing evidence during initial review. Start with the alert details. What rule fired? Which events triggered it? What time zone is used? Which user, host, address, application, or file appears? Is the asset business critical? Is the telemetry complete and timely? Our fictional alert says, successful sign-in for Lena at 9:12 UTC from reserved address 203.0.113.77. The country differs from her recent baseline. The source is the identity provider. Severity is high because the account can access a finance application. High severity influences priority. It does not replace investigation. Confirm the detection window, event count, sign-in result, authentication method, device identity, session identifier, and rule version. Check whether data ingestion was delayed or duplicated. Assign the case, add a concise opening note, and preserve the alert ID. This creates accountability and prevents two analysts from unknowingly taking conflicting actions. A timeline turns disconnected facts into a sequence. Normalize timestamps to one time zone and record source clocks and known delays. At 8:58, Lena's managed laptop checks in as healthy. At 9:10, it connects to an approved corporate VPN. At 9:12, the identity provider records the sign-in from the VPN's new egress address. At 9:13, the finance application records a normal read-only session. Endpoint telemetry shows no unusual process, persistence change, or security control tampering around the window. Review the user entity. Check recent authentication patterns, role changes, password reset activity, multi-factor prompts, and related alerts. Avoid collecting personal information that is not relevant to the investigation. Review the device entity. Is it managed, healthy, and assigned to the user? Were endpoint alerts, suspicious processes, or unusual outbound connections present in the same time window? Review the address. Does the organization own it? Is it a known VPN, proxy, cloud, or security service egress point? External reputation can provide context, but a reputation score is not proof of maliciousness or safety. In our case, the address belongs to a newly activated corporate VPN range. Change management confirms the activation at 9 o'clock. The device and session identifiers match Lena's managed laptop. No other related alerts appear. Write at least two plausible explanations. Hypothesis 1. An attacker used Lena's account. Hypothesis 2. Lena used the approved VPN and the detection baseline had not learned the new address. Hypothesis 3. Duplicate or delayed telemetry created a misleading sequence. For compromise, look for an unfamiliar device, impossible session overlap, repeated multi-factor failures, credential changes, suspicious mailbox or application actions, and related endpoint activity. Do not assume absence in one log means absence everywhere. For the VPN explanation, confirm ownership from an authoritative network source, match the device and session, and verify the approved change. For data quality, compare ingestion time with event time and check connector health. The evidence supports the VPN explanation. It also reveals a detection engineering gap. The new egress range was not added to the approved network context before activation. The analyst classifies the alert as a benign positive with high confidence. The sign-in was unusual and the rule worked as written, but the activity was authorized. The case is closed with evidence links, timeline, hypothesis, conclusion, and a detection improvement task. Do not simply whitelist the user or disable the rule. Add the verified VPN range through change control, test the detection against historical data, and preserve visibility for impossible combinations, such as the VPN address with an unmanaged device. If evidence instead supported compromise, follow the organization's incident plan. Possible actions could include revoking sessions, disabling or protecting the account, isolating a device, preserving evidence, notifying owners, and escalating. Analysts should use approved playbooks because containment can disrupt business and destroy volatile evidence. The analyst recommends authorized incident roles decide actions according to policy. A SIEM aggregates events, applies analytics, and manages alerts or incidents. EDR provides process, file, user, and host context. Identity systems explain authentication, sessions, devices, and access changes. Network tools show connections and traffic metadata. Asset and change systems explain ownership, criticality, and planned work. Use the SIEM to start and organize the case. Pivot to the source system when raw or higher fidelity evidence matters. Use threat intelligence as context, not a binary verdict. Ask the user or system owner only when the question is necessary, approved, and phrased without revealing sensitive detection details. Automation can enrich alerts and perform low-risk checks consistently. High-impact containment should require safeguards, approvals, and rollback. The correct balance depends on confidence, asset value, and organizational policy. A weak closure note says, false alarm. A defensible note records the alert, entities, time zone, evidence sources, timeline, competing hypotheses, actions taken, conclusion, confidence, limitations, and follow-up owner. NIST recommends recording investigation actions and protecting the confidentiality, integrity, and provenance of response records. Case notes can contain sensitive identity, device, network, and business information. Restrict access and follow retention policy.